Okay, so in 1970, Joni Mitchell made this song called Rainy Night House, and it's off Ladies of the Canyon, which is probably best known for Big Yellow Taxi, which I think Counting Crows is the band that covered it. I always think it's John Mayer, but I think it's Counting Crows. But that's a big hit, but my favorite song, and I think maybe a song I've never seen anybody else talk about online, is this Rainy Night House. It's kind of, I think, actually thought to be and confirmed to be about her relationship with Leonard Cohen at the time, who had just written Suzanne, and they were living together for a little bit, maybe. But yeah, so it's mostly about her and Leonard Cohen's relationship. It's a great tune. There are like three things about this song that I think make it great, and the first one is kind of obvious and what Joni Mitchell gets talked about a lot, and it's for her storytelling / songwriting, which I always think to mean it's like you did a good job conveying the human experience or something. And a lot like Bob Dylan, who she says kind of unlocked her songwriting, as in she heard positively 4th Street, and then she was like, oh, you can write about whatever. So obviously it was inside of her, but hearing that on the radio is like, oh, okay, I can write about whatever I want to. And a lot of folks, I think her voice can be a little bit off-putting. It's a little bit piercing. It's like a really cool soprano, so if you like her voice, you like her voice, but it can be divisive in the same way that Dylan's can be. I mean, not as divisive as Dylan's, right? Because Dylan's, it's like, which side are you on? But yeah, so the song itself, the lyrics and whatnot, is really exposing. It's like a song about watching, which is just kind of weird. Like, it's both about her getting watched by Leonard Cohen in this case, in the first verse, and in the second verse, it's about her watching him, and then the third verse is like about her thinking about what he's doing. It's just like very vulnerable. Like, I would never want to admit I thought about someone that much, or like admit that somebody was watching me. I don't know, it's interesting. It's like very human, very exposing. It's just cool. And then if you think about that, like in 1971, she releases Blue, which is like the whole album is as vulnerable as this song, and it's very personal. I mean, an incredible album, but it's just interesting to think about. Like, this song was also extremely exposing, I mean, from my point of view. And then the second thing that makes this song great is just like tone-wise, both in the music and the lyrics. It sets the tone of like being inside a house during a rainstorm. All the lyrics themselves are really interior. I have it on the next slide, and we can look at that. But it's not like a song like Thunder Rolls or Riders on the Storm. I could play a little clip of both of them. Both of these songs start out with just like a thunder crack, outside, and that's a little bit handholdy, like the letting the audience know through the sound effect or production that this is taking place on a rainy night. And I suppose like Joni's is a little bit handholding because the first lyric is "It was a rainy night," but I still think it does less handholding and just like a great job of coming off as really interior. And like you as the listener are inside the house with her while the song's going on. And so these are the lyrics, like I said, really interior. The first one's them at Leonard Cohen's mom's home, I guess. I don't know if that's true. And then the third verse is technically like outside, but the way it's like written and sang, it makes it seem like Joni Mitchell's sitting in a chair looking out a window during a rainy night. So if all three verses take place on 3 separate rainy nights, I think the third one is her alone thinking about the relationship, like reflecting back on the relationship. But the verse I really love is the second verse, which is right there. And specifically, the lyrics I love are "You are a holy man" on the FM radio. I just think like that is, I don't know, every time I hear it, I just get, I don't know, I just love music whenever I hear that. I'm just going to interrupt myself there. I also think like, I should have mentioned this. There's like the whole Tower of Song thing, like calling Leonard Cohen a holy man just reminds me of the Leonard Cohen song Tower of Song, where he's talking about like Hank Williams, and it like makes music out to be this mystical thing. And if you listen to like songwriters talk about music, like Paul Simon, Bob Dylan, talk about how like music sort of flows through you when they're writing songs, like they're really good songs. I think Dylan talked about that with most of the songs he wrote early, especially with the period that the new Chalamet movie's about. He was just like writing as if the Holy Spirit or like, some divine thing was coming through him. And so I just love that when you think about songwriting in general as if it's like this holy or mystical or like really important thing. And even if it's not, it's just like a good way to think about music. There's like a certain reverence towards music with all these people that write songs, and like Joni Mitchell clearly has that same reverence. But yeah, that Tower of Song is also very cool, and also sort of a reverent song towards songwriting, which I love. Anyways, I'll go back to it. So I thought of one more thing in the second verse, like why I love the lyrics, and it's because like Joni, like back to the Tower of Song idea, like Joni Mitchell says she sings soprano in the upstairs choir, and he's like a holy man on the FM radio, and it's sort of like obviously she's tipping her hat to Leonard Cohen's songwriting, in that he's already a holy man on the FM radio, and right now she's just like singing soprano in the upstairs choir. So like she's a part of it, and she like understands and has like a reverence towards Cohen's songwriting, and like I think specifically it's the song Suzanne, which I already mentioned, but I don't know, it's just so cool. Like that little four line bit is so insanely good. But yeah, I think that's the last time I interrupt myself. At least I hope so. And then the cool bit, and the third reason I think like Joni Mitchell's music is very cool in general, is she has these like little musical bursts, and in This Flight Tonight is another one I'll play it quick, but basically it's like this is about I think her relationship with James Taylor, who was heavy addicted to horse at the time, and she's saying she can't get him out of her mind, so she's got headphones and drinking champagne, and then it cuts from the song to like this very tinny radio goodbye baby goodbye. So I'll just play it quick, but it's so cool.
I'm drinking sweet champagne, got the headphones up high, can't numb you out, can't drum you out of my mind. They're playing goodbye baby goodbye. Love is blind.
So yeah, it's so cool, and she has these in a couple other songs as well, but it's like this really surprising burst that as a listener is just so satisfying to listen to. And so on this song, it happens with I'm in the Sunday school, I sing soprano in the upstairs choir. And she joins herself in like a 3-part harmony, at least I think it's her. And one is just this really high soprano part, and then a much lower, I assume it's alto. I mean, I don't really know, I don't know much about harmonies, but I do know, I just love the way it sounds.
I am from the Sunday school, I sing soprano in the upstairs choir.
And it's so cool, and like actually the end of the song kind of has a similar like vocal part. I think it's the middle vocal part, kind of like the song ends on that. But what I really love about this whole verse, to me it feels like, when I listen to it, it feels like a church basement. I don't know why. I mean, potentially it's because of the holy man and the FM radio, and then obviously the Sunday school and the choir. But you just get like this very, very like particular feeling of a church basement when I listen to it, which I mean I just love about this song. Yeah, those are kind of the three reasons why I think this song is great, and I listen to it over and over and over again. And it's cool even if you just like it for the idea that she wrote a song about Leonard Cohen, and these are my favorite lyrics: the holy man on the FM radio. Yeah, that's it. It's a great tune.